What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live with RJM Fishtails. It's been a while. It's been a minute. I've been busy with my day job. I had some little bit of some health issues. Nothing crazy, nothing to worry about, but it kind of set me back a little bit. My wife tried to kill me a few times. No, only kidding. But yeah, I was having some chest pains. I went into the hospital. Did some testing. I've been dealing with it for a little while. They did find a few blockages. Nothing that they're going to take care of right now. But I think a lot of my issues is a lot of nerve damage or uh, you know, torn chest wall. They don't know what's going on because when I was younger, I used to lift a lot of weights, and I think that's just stayed with me and just caused issues. But we're back at it. Before we get into tonight's live, just so you guys know, I don't know if I'm going to still continue doing this weekly. It's that time of year where I want to get out and do a lot of things, so it may be bi-weekly from this point on, and maybe once a month. But as the winter time comes around, I'll do more lives and chase after people to come on. But we'll do as much as we can and just keep these lives rolling. I'm not going to stop them because I enjoy doing them. I enjoy having guests on. But speaking of guests, we have Billy Rigler on tonight from Nocqua. It's nice to have you on. We're going to let Billy tell you what he does at Nocqua, what Nocqua Adventure Gear is all about, and I'll tell you what I use them for since I've been using them since 2016. So I've been using them for 9 years now, and they've been with me since I started kayak fishing. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Billy, what you do there at Nocqua, and a little bit about Nocqua.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. And glad to see you're doing better and happy to be on. Thanks for inviting us. And yeah, so my name's Bill Rigler. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing for Nocqua Adventure Gear. And yeah, so I do a little bit of everything at Nocqua. Most of it centers on the marketing piece. So whether that's content that you see in social media or content that you see on our website, or any type of video related content recently. That's me. And then from a sales perspective, we are actively working to build out our dealer network and broaden the dealer footprint at across the U.S. for Nocqua Adventure Gear. So a lot of time there as well. But it's great. Really enjoyed. I've been with Nocqua for a little bit over a year now, and I'm sure we'll get into how I came to work at Nocqua. It's an interesting story, and happy to tell that if we have some time.
Yeah, we'll have some time. Might as well tell it now. We can get into it now. This way everybody knows what you're all about and how you got there. And then we'll get into
Yeah.
what I use it for and what Nocqua really is. And we'll show, the people out there what they have and everything else, besides what we see
Yes.
behind you.
Yes, for sure. So back in the summer of 2023, I met the CEO and COO of Nocqua simply by looking at a product that they actually were trying to sell from the company on Facebook Marketplace. There was a kayak accessory. It was an Old Town pedal drive, and I didn't know Billy or Heidi at the time, and all was a Old Town pedal drive on the Facebook Marketplace that I was interested in purchasing, and I'll tell you why. Um, so I own a company separate of Nocqua called Steady Stick, and I've been developing that product line for the last couple of years. And at the time, I was in need of an extra pedal drive. And so, anyway, long story short, I met the owners and of Nocqua through Facebook Marketplace, and we stayed in contact. And later that year, we chatted about some needs that they were looking for from a sales and marketing standpoint, and then kind of the rest is history. But it's an interesting way to meet, your future employer.
Yeah, definitely for sure. So, so since I started kayak fishing in 2016, I was looking for a battery to power my. Did I have my fish finder right away? Yeah, my fish finder because I was on a pedal drive. I was on the Hobie for years. So all I really needed power for on my kayak, and that was even before YouTube, was just my fish finder. So my Garmin Graph, which I've been running, not the same one, but I've been running Garmin since I've started kayak fishing too, and even on my boats. I was looking for a battery, and I was looking for something small because I know I didn't need a bunch of power. I was looking for lithium and something reliable, and that's when I started using the 10 amp hour battery from Nocqua, and I've been using those ever since. I currently carry three of them on my kayak. I could actually probably get away with just running two. So this battery runs my graph all day. We were down for, what was it, the Team Kayak Series. That was a 10-hour day that we did for at Lake Murray, and I still had power all day. And this battery, this one I have in my hand, I think is possibly 2 years old now because I've had, I think, five total batteries in 9 years. That's it. And the other ones
Okay.
were still working. I just had, I was able to get an upgrade and I did. And I just ended up giving those other batteries away. But out of reality, I think I can get, I forgot what it is, Billy. I think these will last for at least, are they 3 to 5 years or are they actually longer? I forget. Oh, I think we lost Billy. But anyway, you can get a long time out of these batteries. But they're very small, they're very inexpensive, and like I said before, I could get away with just like two or three, two of these on my kayak, but I'm currently using three. You back there, Billy? We lost you for a bit.
Hey,
You there?
Ryan, you cut out for the last like 15 seconds. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
hear me or not. I mean, we're getting dumped on outside of where I'm at. So that's
Yeah.
probably why. Can you hear me okay now? I can see you now.
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
lost you, I think. But
Okay.
yeah, I've been using these batteries for, since I was kayak fishing, and they're small, they're light, they're inexpensive, and they just last. I like these batteries because they're sealed and they're waterproof. And, there's no open exposed terminals that you normally get on any of your other batteries on the market out there. This is a 10 amp hour. A lot of other brands out there have the same size or a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, and they're just open little tabs. This is connected very easily with if you can see this, just a very small little connector, and they sell the pigtails that you can just wire to anything that you need that you need 12 volts for. So it makes it a clean install, it makes it a sealed install, and I've dumped these in the water before and they work just fine. I don't have any problems with them. And I just love these batteries because I don't need a lot of power. I run the Torpedo, so it has its own battery, so I don't need that big, lithium battery on the back of my kayak. I never will. I'm always probably going to run a Torpedo. They're their own batteries. Everything else, though, my nav lights, my, running my GoPro throughout the day, and my uh, graph runs off these little batteries. And I currently use two 10 amp hours up front. I have the nav lights on one, and I have the fish finder on the other one. But I could get away with one because your nav lights, now as you're fishing throughout the night, it's only usually on for maybe an hour in the morning. So, I could get away with just one of those 10 amp hours. And I usually fish on the water when I'm filming like 6 to 8 hours. But these batteries have lasted me all day. Never had any problems with them. And the one in the back that I use is I just recharge them every time I come off the water, but you don't even have to. So that's why I like them. Nocqua also makes a whole bunch of other accessories for kayak fishing, and they originally started out with like paddleboard sports with all their lighting and all their different attachments, so you can light up underneath your paddleboards and everything else. You still there, Billy? I think I keep losing you. I think we lost Billy again. He's up in North Carolina. He's getting a lot of rain right now, so I think we lost Billy. But yeah, I've been using these for a very long time. I don't think I'll ever go to anything else to use for my fish finder for my grasp, just because I like them. They're simple. They charge really fast, and I have no problems with them whatsoever. I'm going to show you the website here. Maybe we can get Billy back. But if you look at the here, you can see how these things can attach to a pole. Uh, a lot of people run these on the back of their camera poles, because I'm going to show you here real quick. Let me bring myself back. So with this Velcro here, you can wrap this around like your camera pole and legitly have these hanging off your camera pole, and they make a USB-C adapter that goes on this, and you can just plug your cameras into it. Yeah, Billy's texting me. I think Billy got connected. Just please hold, guys. Sorry about that. Sometimes you have those connection issues, but it's very simple, guys. You can use this on a lot of different applications around your kayak, and I plan on using this down the line for something else, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. In case Billy doesn't come back, this may be a little bit of a shorter live stream. But if you go on to their website and go to power, I'm going to show you here real quick. You can jump down here and you can see all these kits. So your 10 amp hour battery, they have a 4.5 or a 4.4, which is over here. But your 10 amp hour kit with a USB-C adapter is $139. And these things, they're so small, it's unbelievable how small they are compared to other 10 amp hour batteries out there on the market. Sorry, Billy's texting me real quick. Hold on, guys. Please hold. You can't get reconnected. This is our first time we actually had connection issues. But yeah, so the price of this for $139 to get a 10 amp hour kit is great. Now, what I should probably do, just because these batteries last me forever, I should really get the 20 amp hour, and they make a Y splitter that you can put in the front, and you can actually join either two 10 amp hour batteries or two 20 amp hour batteries together, and really get all that power in such a small package. But with this USB-C adapter, it can run your cameras or charge your phone, because I know a lot of the phones now, everybody's going to USB-C. Anything that's USB-C, shoot, you could even take your laptop on the water if you wanted to, or your iPad, and just keep charging off the USB-C adapter because it's 12 volt, and you can power things up. But everything is plug and play. It keeps it super simple, and for $140 to get this kit is great. And then the 20 amp hour one's $202, and the 20 amp hour is not that much bigger than the 10 amp hour, which is pretty crazy that it's such a compact size. But you can see here the power bank. A lot of people have been using these for $40. This thing powers your phone. It charges laptops, and it's super small. It has a built-in light on it. I did like a little short on my on YouTube before for that too as well. There's so many different kits, and it's so easy for anybody with very little skill to be able to power anything on your kayak, on your boat, anywhere you need 12 volt power. I've had these before on trailers. I powered my rigging lights with these just to be able to charge this, and I can get 4, 5, 6, 10 trips out of it, because your rigging lights are only on maybe for what, 15, 20 minutes when you're setting up early in the morning or doing it late at night. So these things are great. They got the USB C and A adapter, which is right here. And I'm actually going to show you that's how I power my rear GoPro when I'm with my son on the tandem kayak on the New Canoe Unlimited. You got this little torpedo battery. So this little battery here, it's same thing too. You can wrap this around your pole, your camera pole, and you can just use this as well for powering your cameras and everything else. So yeah, I think we lost Billy for the rest of the show, but I'm just gonna go over this briefly, guys, with you, and show you some other options, and we'll talk about some other things. But just they got the 12 volt regulator to keep your power clean. They got the inline fuses. They have it all. They even have built-in inline switches, so you can plug in your battery. Then you could hook, you can get the little pigtail that they sell, and hook that to the lights that you have that you want to power up, and you can have the built-in switch right here. So it makes it super, super easy, plug and play. You got another one here where you can split it off twice and run off the switch. They have it all. Here's your Y adapter at the bottom, so you can join two 4.5s or 4.4s together, two 10s together, a 10 and a 20, a 4, whatever you guys want to join together, and just have your constant 12 volt power coming out. And it keeps it super, super simple. But I'm going to show you here a setup. Let me come back to just full screen. And you can go on their website and you can see everything that they have. So this is what I'm using right now. So I got the track pack, and I got the USB C and A adapter right in there. And all I did is just take the track pack, and I have this on the little track pack mount on the back corner of my new Canoe Unlimited, because when I'm with my son and I have that back seat pushed back, it prevents me from really running a black pack behind me. So this keeps my battery inside of here, and then it just wires right in to the pigtail. So only thing I got to do though when I run the 10 amp hour battery is I just take the Velcro off this, and you can see that this is a sealed battery. But this is just the outside packaging. They make it look cool, and they have all different kinds. I think Yak Attack sells them with their brand on it, through Yak Attack itself. I think you get them on Amazon. But you can see it's a sealed lithium battery. So it's just black inside, and it's all rubber coated. That's the only way I can get it to fit inside my track pack. So I just take the cover off. It doesn't, make the battery not work any less or keep it less waterproof because it's already a sealed battery. I just got to plug this together, which is very easy. Sorry, I'm kind of blind here without my glasses. And you can see right there is my voltmeter, and I got my USB. Actually, this one has 2 C's on it. This is actually not the Nocqua one. I have had a bunch of these before Nocqua came out with their version, but it's the same concept. So I got the voltmeter on there, and I have 2 USB-Cs on this one because that's all I need anymore. USB-A is almost like obsolete for the most part. But then I set this on the little track that's in the back of the new canoe, and then I just plug my GoPro right into that, and that's how I run that when it's just me and my son out in the water. So, with that Y splitter, that's what I'll probably end up doing maybe down the line, and just put my 210 amp hours together just to run everything up front for me, because they still work. There's no reason to replace them, and that Y splitter is $13. So I mean, it's not very expensive at all to be able to join and have 20 amp hour, or 40 amp hour if you take two 20s together, or two, 4.4s, and just join them together and have your 12 volt power, clean power, and then you can get the, what do they call it? What's the word I'm looking for, guys? The regulator. Sorry, I had a little hiccup there what I wanted to say. So yeah, the 12 volt regulator will keep that as a clean power. I've never used it. I never needed it because the Garmin itself, it can fluctuate with the voltage without having any problems. But if you have some sensitive equipment, very expensive maybe finder, just put that regulator on there just in case you get a surge or a spike, just to protect that. But my plan down the line is, and Tyler, who's on tonight, he knows already what my plan is. So I'm going to go back to simplicity again. Just like my kayak, I run it pretty. Some people say I have a lot of stuff on there, but most people look at my kayak. I think Tyler runs more simple than I do, but I don't have a lot of stuff on my kayak as far as electronics and stuff. So I like simplicity. I like open deck. I'm going to probably go back to carrying my kayak in the back of my truck, and a second one on top of my rack. And the reason is because in the future, I do want to buy a boat again. I'm always going to be kayak fishing, so that's never going to be off my channel. That's always going to be around. I'm always going to do a lot of content with kayak fishing, but I want to add a boat to it. But I want to add a simple boat. A tiller handle, maybe a trolling motor up front, so this way when I go out in the salt, I have that as well. But besides my starting battery, or I might even get a pull start tiller, which I probably not because I want to get a jack plate and everything for it. I actually priced one out. But I want to get that within the next year. I'm going to sell my trailer that I just did a video on. So I'm going to get rid of the trailer. I'm going to save up all that money, so I only have to finance a little bit, but I want to still keep it simple. So I'll have a starting battery for my motor, and obviously I need 24 or 36 volts for my trolling motors. Those I'm going to run lithium lightweight batteries. But as far as my nav lights on the boat, as far as if I do like a little speaker, maybe a little Bluetooth speaker, which a lot of those times are just rechargeable anyway, but I might even put a little sound system in the boat, which I probably won't though, because I still don't really listen to music when I'm on the water. And if I'm filming it, I gotta worry about the copyright laws anyway. So, but like my nav lights or anything else that I can come up with, because I'm always do like little gadgets, maybe, USB-C charger right on the boat, in different spots to charge, different GoPros. I'm going to use these. I'm going to use the Nocqua batteries on my boat too. So it's just not for kayak fishing. It's for boats. And like I said, it's for anything that you need 12 volt power for. So you can use the Nocqua batteries for so many different things. And, Nocqua has some really cool things too. If you guys have been around the Kayak Adventure series, or you've actually seen, follow Nocqua on social media, they got the backpacks, the traveler backpack, which is great. It folds down. All that stuff you can see on the website. But really, Nocqua started with the paddleboard sports. They started with the underwater lights, which we'll show you some lighting here. And some lighting is gonna, some cool things are be coming down the line from Nocqua for us as kayak anglers, as well as lighting. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, whatever. Expect lighting from Nocqua for us kayakers for nav lights, and I'll probably end up using those on the boat as well too for my nav lights. But when I was down at ICAST this past year, I talked to Billy and Heidi about it, and I says, "Dude, if you guys get some nav lights for kayaks, you will start blowing all the other people out of the water, and your stuff's better quality, in my opinion, anyway. Not that I'm prone to use Nocqua for everything. It's just that I've been using it since 2016 and it's been flawless. So why change? I know there's other lighting manufacturers out there, but like Yak Power, I got that stuff now. But be honest with you, Yak Power is it's not that great. It works, but then there's sometimes you have some issues with it. I changed it from I had the bullet lights. I had two bullet lights burn out on me. Now I'm using the strips. So far, it's been all right with the strips, but I know when Nocco comes out with their version of it, it's going to be a lot better than the Yak Power lights, and it's going to still be reasonably priced. It's not going to be out of the water. But, they started with like all these like little, see, there you go. I'll click on there. Maybe my internet's lagging today too. Must just be that day. We have some bad weather running around. I don't know why it's lagging there, guys. Hmm. Anyway, they got these. You can just see here in this picture, you can see these paddle boards. And like if you do like clear kayak fishing, that'd be pretty cool to light up underneath your kayak. But they started with the paddleboard sports, being at Billy's, adventure type of guy. And these just strap around the paddle boards, and these lights are underwater. So that tells you how waterproof they are. And you just take the little Nocqua battery and you can just kind of Velcro it, strap it to the back of your paddleboard, and you can light up underneath. And they change color with the switch. You can change the color. You see all the colors here: the pink, the blue, the green, the purple. That's all done with the same light. So you can just go through the color changes on that. This would be even cool if you do night fishing with kayak fishing. You know how some guys light up the water to attract the fish to it. That's something else you could do with your kayak too. You could get this, and if you look at the price, it's 250 for a light that's going to be underwater, being in the salt environment and still work flawlessly. And it's just a kind of a cool concept if you want to have some fun and really like, deck out your kayak and have some underwater lights. But that's where Nocqua really started, was with the paddleboard sports. Then the batteries to power it, and then people realized, well, 12-volt batteries you could use, for your nav lights on your kayak. You could use for nav lights on your boat. You can use that 12-volt battery to power anything that runs off of 12 volts. Like I said, I was using it before for rigging lights when I had on trailers before, when I didn't have a truck that had constant power to the back. Now most of your trucks have 7-ways that have constant power at that 7-way cord, except for Ford on their F-150s. Even the Super Duties may have constant power, but the F-150s have to put a jumper in the fuse box. Hopefully they change that. But when you want something self-contained, the power up, Nocqua is a great way of doing it, and I kind of like that. Like now, I can disconnect my trailer and it's self-contained with the lights on the inside and the out. I'm not relying on my truck. So, yeah, it's a very cool company, guys. They have a lot of cool little gadgets to power up as you're traveling. Like this, this power bank. I have one of these. I use it. I used to run my GoPro off it, when I had it in the front. So I still use it now. I keep it on the kayak with me for to recharge my phone. It's just a quick way to recharge your iPad, your iPhone, and I think you can get 3 or 4 charges on your phone with this power bank. So you just charge this once, 3 or 4 times. You can charge your phone up on the go if you're on a long trip on an airplane. So they have a lot of cool things for lighting and batteries for us who are on the water. And like I said, down the line, you're going to see some cool things from them, as well as more lighting for us on the water as fishermen. So just stay tuned to that. They're in the works of doing that. That's all I'll say about that. And expect some cool things from them. And I really like them, guys. I'm not, it's inexpensive. I mean, we know lithium batteries can get very, very expensive these days, and a lot of people still have problems with those expensive batteries. So I like Nocqua, guys. I like it just because they're lightweight, they're waterproof, and it's just simple to connect to everything that you own. They have every little pigtail you need to make a connection to anything that runs off a 12 volt, 12 volt power. So they have the open pigtails, which are probably on page 2 here, that you just splice into and use a butt connector. I don't see it on this page, but yeah, you just wire it into you wire their little pigtails into the butt connector with butt connectors to their pigtail, and it just plugs right into their battery. So it keeps it very simple to, make your connections across your vessel, or if you're even on the go. I mean, you could use this and build your own, turtle box with it and put this inside of a case. I don't have it in front of me like my camera case. I could put a little speaker in there and run it off the Nocqua batteries. So anything you want to be creative with, you can use it and power whatever you want to do. And it's small enough to fit in these small cases to really have some fun with, guys. So that's about it. It's it. I apologize that we lost Billy. He's where he's at. He's just they're getting hail, he says right now, and everything else. So I wish we could have had him on, but we'll have him back on again when we have better connection and he can go a little bit more into depth about it because I'm sure he knows more than I do about Nocqua. I mean, I know quite a bit because I've been around him long enough, but as a sales guy, we're going to really question him, and you guys could drop some questions. But stay tuned to that. But yeah, 4.4 amp hour, 10 amp hour, and 20 amp hour. You don't need more than that on a kayak. Yes, for your trolling motor and your motors for your batteries, of course you do. But you take two 20 amp hour batteries together, that's 40 amp hours at 12 volt. It's more than enough power to power everything that we need, even the 12-volt trolling motor. It'll run it for a little bit, and not as long as our bigger batteries we have out there, but it will work. I mean, you could be as creative as you want with these. So that's it, guys. But yeah, we're going to be getting a boat in the next year. Health wise, I'm doing okay. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have some really cool content with that. Like I said, I'm gonna keep the boat simple. I'm gonna have Nocqua batteries on my boat too as well. We're gonna go back to hauling the kayak on the rack in the back of the truck. No more trailer. I thought about getting another custom kayak trailer done, but be honest with you, it's less maintenance, less things you got to worry about when you're on the road. Now, if I get a bigger kayak down the line, which, some bigger kayaks coming out down the line, who knows? I might have to get a trailer just because I'm getting older. But, it's kind of hard for me to take the boat and take the kayak with me. So I can't, well, you can tow two trailers if you want to, but I don't need all that maintenance and worry about, double hitching onto a trailer. But it's actually easier to tow a tandem trailer than it is a single when you're backing up. But yeah. Yeah, I just want to tow my boat behind me, throw my kayak back up on top of the rack, and just go and just take my family with me. We can go on the boat, and then I can go do my kayak fishing on the side. So that's about it, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I do apologize once again that we lost Billy, but it is what it is. And I'm going to try to do as many lives as I can, and we're going to have some fun. So I'll be reaching out to quite a few people, trying to get some other people here on the live with us, and we'll have some good conversations. But right now, it's summertime for most of us. It's spring and summertime, so get out there on the water and enjoy it. And we'll, like I said, I'm going to be doing the same thing. So you guys can stop by here and watch these lives over again if you want. So, as always, guys, be safe on the water, and I'll catch you in the water. I'll see you guys soon. I'm thinking about another show next Tuesday, but we'll see. So, thanks for stopping by, guys.